Coming up, I'm going to give you a thorough introduction to WC Knives Woodsman Bowie, so stick around. Hi, I'm the OCD Hunter, bringing you tips, tricks, DIY hacks, and other useful ways that my OCD can help make your life a little bit more simpler. I've always carried some type of a large knife on the side of my hunting pack, along with a Baco Laplander and my cold steel Trailhawk on the other side. And over the years, I've had some interesting knives to fit the bill, like the Habless SRT, the Top Skull Crusher, and the 511 Camp and Field knife, just to name a few. But none of them did what I was really looking for. I was about to pull the trigger on a Becker BK7 to be my next trial large blade until I ran into this, the WC Knives Woodsman Bowie. To start off, let's give you an idea of what the size is. I know for me, seeing something on screen or in a photo without anything to reference it with makes it hard to determine the size. For those WC fans, here it is next to a Master Woodsman 2 and a WC SK. And for those that may not be familiar with the WC knives, here it is next to a Mora Garberg and a BKS Buffalo Skinner. As you can see, it is definitely a larger knife. The knife's overall length is about 12 inches, and the cutting surface is about 6.5. The widest point of the blade is about 2 inches. This is a full tang construction knife and is 3/16 of an inch thick. Made from AEBL steel, which William tries to keep at the lower 60s on the Rockwell hardness scale. It has a pommel sticking out of the handle that can be used for smashing things like nuts, scraping bark, or even striking a ferro rod. But more importantly, it is designed so if you have to hammer the knife into some wood, you will not hit the handle and damage it, much like his Master Woodsman models. On the butt of the knife, he has put a hidden lanyard. I personally love this design because it keeps the lanyard out of my way. When the lanyard goes through the handle of a knife, it just seems to always get in my way. It's these little attention to detail that my OCD likes. The handle scales are made from a combination of G10 layered with rubber created by the company Urex and dubbed the name of the material Sure Touch. This layer gives it a tacky feeling and almost feels like the Knives of Alaska Sure Grip handles. The scales are accented with an orange G10 liner and brass pins. For those of you who know about WC knives, there's no need to explain the handle design, but since there may be someone who are not familiar with it watching, I'm going to take a second to explain. WC Knives for me probably has one of the best handle designs. I wear large to extra large gloves, and sometimes it's hard to find a full fitting handle on a knife for me. I'll have a video coming up on the criteria of how I choose my knives, but until then, I'll just let you know the #1 thing I look for in a knife is ergonomics. It's just that simple. If a knife is not comfortable in your hand while you're working with it, let's face it, you will not use it. And I just don't mean when you pick it up and hold it. I mean when I turn it and angle it and I use it in my hand in all different type of positions. If it has too many hot spots or fatigues my grip or wrist when I use it, I sell it or trade it. This was one of the major reasons why WC Knives probably is my favorite knife on the market today. Here you can see the handle is contoured into 3 swells. Each has its purpose, dividing the handle into almost 3 different grips. First, the back swell. By placing your pinky into the lanyard and gripping onto the rear swell, it extends the knife's length for chopping. Now this blade is big enough for doing chopping on wood for several bushcraft chores, and it does it with ease and comfort. But where it excels with me for chopping is like clearing out brush. This will definitely be used to clear out shooting lanes when setting up for hunting. Being able to hold the handle that far back gives it a secure, quick slice that removes thorn bushes, brush, and small saplings with ease and with a clean cut. Moving your hand up to the normal grip, the palm swell fits perfectly in my hand, and the lack of any sharp or hard edges allows for use with no fatigue or hot spots. And the contours of the grip locks my hand in securely, giving me good safe control. The last swell up by the blade is very intriguing. I have to admit, the first time I saw William holding his knife there, I thought it was crazy and thought for sure it was a gimmick, and if I tried I would cut my finger off. But I have to tell you, the way he makes these knives, you can comfortably grab the first swell with the back 2 or 4 fingers, easily avoiding the blade with your first 2 fingers. And you have just shortened this blade to allow better motor control over the blade. It is unreal the diversity and thought that he has put into one of these handles. And of course, these are just 3 of the main grips you can use to control the knife. There are plenty other grip options out there as well. Moving on to the cutting edge. This knife came super sharp. It has probably been one of the sharpest knives I've ever received. This knife has what William calls his Woodsman grind. By that, he means basically it's a multi-grind knife. It starts out with a Scandi in this curved section. Of course, Scandi grinds are exceptional for dealing with wood. Then it swoops down and blends into a saber grind, which gives the knife good slicing ability, but keeps the edge strength for chopping. And it is at this transition between the two that he deems the sweet spot. Because while using the Scandi portion to work with the wood, the curve draws the wood into itself, allowing for fine carving and gives great control over the knife even at this size, while handling any of your bushcraft chores. Sharpening this Woodsman grind is easy because the sharpening angle is the same throughout the knife. William uses 11 to 12 degree angle across the blade, which you'll find on most Scandi grind knives. To sharpen, you simply find the angle and then slowly move across your sharpening stone. But typically for any other grind, most knife makers use between 18 to 22 degrees to sharpen their knives. And this is one of the reasons WC knives are wicked sharp. This knife has more of a Nespik design with a hump, and then it angles towards the tip. You can see how sturdy the tip is, and the spine has a fierce 90-degree spine, which is great for processing wood or striking ferro rods. The blade steel is AEBL, which is a stainless steel, so you cannot strike it with flint to produce a spark, but requires very little maintenance to keep it rust-free. I put this knife through the paces of chopping, carving, batoning, and other bushcraft chores as the blade came, and it performed very well. After all that, there were no chips, nicks, or rolling of the blade. And following my punishment, it easily sliced thinly through a tomato as if it had just been sharpened. This time of year, I don't have any game to process, but using this old beef rib tips, you can see how you can choke up on the blade and use the belly of the knife for skinning and processing. As you can see, this knife definitely doesn't have a problem with edge retention. And look how thinly the blade sliced the meat. So where can you get one of these knives? The knee-jerk answer would be WC Knives, of course. But you would be wrong. This knife is made by WC Knives, but this knife is sold exclusively from a Canadian company called Northern Woods Elite. I'll have a link to their website in the description if you want to check out the site. And just to clarify, I don't make anything if you click the link or buy something from them. But if you do go visit them, let them know the OCD Hunter sent you. So this Woodsman Bowie is definitely a large knife, but it can handle a lot of tasks. Now, I'm not a big proponent for a one-tool option, but this tool does take care of your wood, your fire prep, and general camp chores. But maybe the size of this blade isn't your cup of tea. If so, stay tuned to the channel because I'll be going over William Collins's Blackbird, his Baby Bird, and his Nessie in the near future. So there you have it, the Woodsman Bowie by WC Knives. I'm the OCD Hunter, and I hope that my continual painstaking practice of changing, fixing, and improving on ideas will help you out in your endeavors. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell next to the subscribe button to get notified of new videos. Comments are always welcome.